Hi everybody, I'm Hector Garcia. I'm an accountant and I use ChatGPT a lot for experimenting with different accounting tasks. A couple of days ago, I posted a video talking about the difference between ChatGPT and DeepSeek, and we gave it a tax question and we tried to figure out how quickly it can give me an answer. In this video, we're going to be focusing mostly on accuracy, so not so much speed, accuracy, and we're going to be using this concept of deep research. Now, deep research is only available in the Pro edition, so you need to have this thing that says O1 Pro mode because I'm paying $200 a month for ChatGPT Pro. So the $20 a month version or the free version doesn't have this deep research. And deep research does a lot of really interesting things. One of the things that it does is it really does double check its work, checks multiple resources. It is pretty awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to be focusing right now on accuracy, and we're going to be explaining exactly how that deep research works. We're going to showcase how it does, and we're actually going to compare the information that it gives me against an actual tax return that I prepared. So we're going to do an example of a tax return, have it prepare or calculate the tax liability, and then I'm going to compare it with the real tax return that I prepared with my tax software, and we're going to see how accurate it gets. So that's going to be the first example. The second example, I'm actually going to go into QuickBooks Online, and I'm going to attempt to use ChatGPT Pro with deep research to help me reconcile my bank account. So we're going to do both a tax example and an accounting example. Let's jump right to this. So I'm going to go ahead and paste the same question I asked it on the previous video, and I'll put a link in the description to the previous video if you need some of the context, although you don't. But I'm going to read this out loud. So I have a client married filing jointly, $100,000 of W-2 for him, $120K for W-2 for the spouse, Schedule C taxable income of $90K for him. She has a K1 Scorp for $278. He has a K1 general partnership for $76K. Spend $21,000 in health insurance. Self-employed, 2 Schedule E properties, making $4K in rent each, and 1 child was born in 2024, no child care expenses. Then they paid $50K in W-2 Fed withholding, $27K in quarterly estimated taxes. What is their tax liability? And I'm going to click on deep research. This is going to be the difference between what we've done before. It's going to be through deep research, and I'm also going to use the O1 with advanced reasoning, but with deep research. So let's click on send here. And what you immediately start seeing is that it's asking me questions, clarifying questions, in order for it to be able to do its deep research. So now my job is to make sure that I answer these questions, and I'm going to answer one by one, right? So I'm going to say standard deduction for the first was asking me whether it's a standard deduction or itemized. Then the next question is retirement accounts, no retirement, no student loans. Let's say for education credits, I'll say no education credits. I'll also put no foreign tax. So essentially just answering all the questions here. So no foreign tax here. Let's do no AMT. And this question about the net investment income tax. Let's say I don't know this. So let's put no AMT, and let's put that I really don't know what this NIIT is, the net investment tax. So let's say you figure it out for me or something like that. Yeah, that's good enough. And then let's say for self-employment tax, do I apply for the Schedule C and Partnership K1? Yes, we'll do that. Now, I do realize that the average taxpayer doesn't know really how to answer these questions. So for now, we're still sort of testing a tool from an accountant's perspective, really, kind of almost. But this is kind of where we are. So now you see that it starts the process. So it's going to start calculating the details. And what OpenAI said is that this stuff is going to take a while. Okay, so we'll be back shortly, basically, it says. They advertise this thing takes anywhere between 5 minutes and 30 minutes. I'm recording this video in early February. I'm sure that within a couple of months, this stuff's going to be super quick. It's worth showing that while these things, I can actually open another chat, and I'm going to do the same exact question, but in O3 Mini, which is actually the latest model, and do the exact same thing. And it actually could do both things simultaneously. And this kind of is the big deal, that you can leave a task doing, and then you can go and start another task. That's what they mean by agents. Now, this asked me similar questions. They're the same questions, but they asked them similarly. It's a different model, so I'm just going to start answering them. So 1, they live in Florida, so there's no state tax. 2, married filing jointly, to confirm that. And then 3, we'll just put here standard deductions. And then 4, it would be, I would say no additional, or something, no retirement, all that stuff, right? So no additional, so nothing extra. And 5, I will say yes for self-employment. So pretty much the same questions that the other model asks. And we'll make sure that deep research is on. We'll hit send on that, and we'll also wait for this one. Meanwhile, I'll go back to the other chat that we have here that's waiting, and you see how the progress is going, right? It's telling you what it's doing, and it does a lot of web research. And if you click on source there, it opens up that sidebar that gives you kind of the ability to see what it's doing. So you get to kind of see its thinking, more or less. It's sort of like arguing with itself, talking to itself, and you get to see all that. And then I could also go back to the other one and kind of see what that's doing too. So it's pretty neat. You can kind of see what it's doing, and multiple agents, so to speak, are doing the work for you. So that's really the biggest lesson, is that you don't have to be staring at it, interacting with it. It does its own thing. Okay, so now I fast forwarded to when it finished. I just want to show you here. This one took 7 minutes. So it took 7 minutes to finish the work. And then the other one also completed it in, let's say, in 4 minutes. So one did it in 7 minutes. The other one did it in 4 minutes. At the end of the day, we just want to see accuracy. That's what we're looking at. So according to this, our liability is roughly $93,000. Okay, that's the number that is giving me. And then the other model, so we tried the two ChatGPT models. The other one's also giving me 93,000. So it's pretty clear. That doesn't matter which model you use, as long as you use the deep research, it will arrive at that conclusion. Now here's the actual tax return I prepared. And I just want to show you, because we're checking for accuracy. I'm going to go all the way down to my liability, and my liability is actually $95,000, but the $95,000 includes a penalty, because the tax software always also adds a penalty. So if you actually take 95 grand minus that $3,000 penalty, we get around 91,000, 92,000. Let's just go back into ChatGPT here and have it also calculate let's add the tax penalty to see how closer we get if we actually add the tax penalty, because the tax software does it automatically. So let's see what ChatGPT calculates. And it does, and this part is not doing deep research. It doesn't need to, because this particular portion is just regular math that it needs to do. It already did the deep research, to calculate the core. Now it's just going to go back and calculate the additional penalty. So let's see what the additional penalty comes out to, and then we'll compare the final numbers. I'm excited to see what this is going to look like. And it's doing the calculation now. So almost there. Okay, it's doing estimates, all estimated amounts. So this is going to even show me the formula, which is awesome. And then based on this, it's calculating a penalty of about $3,000. So check that out. Super close. We're talking about 96,500 versus 95,000. So we were off by $1,000. Again, not the same as tax software, but that was the idea, is to see how accurately we can get. I think it's also worth mentioning that you can actually grab that same prompt. I'm going to go into the comments and the description and actually copy and paste that prompt in there so you can test it on your own. If you have the free version of ChatGPT, or maybe just the Plus edition with the $20 a month edition, and try it with the 4.0, with the 0.1, with the 0.3 models, and see what kind of results you get. I would love to see if your ChatGPT somehow already got better by the time this video got published, because obviously, the $200 a month version with deep research, not everybody has that. Now, I'm going to trust that one the most, because that's the most advanced and it took the longest to give me the answer. Different than the video I posted earlier that was mostly about speed. We're focusing mostly on accurate, and we pretty much got accurate down right, especially compared to the return I prepared. Now, for the super duper tax nerds, the CPAs, the enroll agents, I did exclude QBI, the qualified business income deduction, from the calculation. So I know that's completely excluded. I went back into the model and asked it about to calculate QBI, and it does it perfectly. You just have to specify, whether there's payroll or not in those K1s. I mean, I don't want to get too much into the technical aspects of it, but if you, as a follow-up question, then ask it to calculate the QBI, it will do it. So, but I just excluded it for the sake of just expediency to make the video a little bit quicker. So this is where it is. This is where it is now. So I can only imagine, the average tax preparer, or not even the average taxpayer, going into the phone, into like some deep research version of the phone and saying, hey, I have this scenario with my tax. I think this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. What do you think my tax liability is going to be? And the thing maybe takes 5 minutes, maybe even faster at some point in the near future. It gives him the answer, and then customers, small business owners, will no longer feel that they need to run this stuff through an accounting professional. It would be an AI that could essentially give them this information very accurately. So this is where I strongly believe that the accounting profession, the accounting professionals need to think about how we rebrand ourselves, because this stuff is getting scarily accurate, which also means that our customers are going to know about this, which also means that their relationship with accounting and tax will change. They will expect AI to do some things that they used to, that the accountants used to gatekeep as the only ones that had that information. So let's keep that in mind. Let's keep our eye on this. Again, not everybody's going to have a $200 a month version of ChatGPT, but in the next couple months, this deep reasoning, it's probably going to be on the free edition or the $20 a month edition. So that's something to be watching. We have to look out for. Now, let's move on to an example where we use ChatGPT to try to help me reconcile my bank. So let's assume for a second that I'm in my QuickBooks reconciliation page. Maybe I don't have any transactions marked here, or I have all the transactions marked here. In either case, I'm not getting to a difference of 0. Essentially, what I want is I want to have my physical bank statement reconciled. So this is a typical task that we do in accounting, which is we grab a bank statement, we enter the ending balance here, we go into here, we make sure the ending balance matches, and then we go in and check transaction by transaction manually in the bank statement to see which ones are there and which ones are in QuickBooks. And once they're both marked, you get to a difference of 0. So right now I'm not getting that difference, so I want to attempt to use ChatGPT to get that difference. Now, most of the times you will have a PDF bank statement that kind of looks like this. Sometimes you can go into your bank and get a CSV file, like a sort of like a spreadsheet file, the spreadsheet version of this. That would be optimal, because you kind of have to have a spreadsheet version of this, so you can now export the data that's in QuickBooks, get the data that actually came from the bank, and have it checked one by one and tell you which ones wouldn't clear the bank. That's kind of the premise. If you don't happen to have a CSV file like this, your bank doesn't give you one, you can actually use ChatGPT to convert it. So we're going to do that step first. So we're going to go into ChatGPT, regular ChatGPT 4.0, it does it, no problem. Then we're going to click and drag the bank statement there, and we're going to tell it, extract the data from this bank statement and create a CSV file with a table with 4 columns. I need date, transaction number, description, and amount. I need to be able to export this into QuickBooks Online. Okay, so I'm actually telling it to give me a QuickBooks Online friendly CSV file, not because I'm going to, but just because it will give me a sheet, a CSV file, a Excel file that I can actually, in a different chat, paste into ChatGPT and have it compare the actual raw bank statement with the stuff that's coming out of QuickBooks. Boom, there it is. So it extracted the actual statement for me. I'm going to click on download Chase statement. Now I'll have a file that ChatGPT converted that looks like this. So essentially, that was the point, is to get to this, the point where you have a flat file that you can compare. Now, one thing I recommend, if you are going to use ChatGPT to do a conversion, I would ask it to double check that the beginning balance and ending balance matches with the sum of the extracted transactions. Okay, so if you are going to use ChatGPT to convert a PDF into a bank statement, do have that in your prompt to make sure that it does the double check. Just make sure you're checking apples to apples, because then the next issue you're going to have that. So you have to make sure that makes sense first. Okay, now I'm going to go into QuickBooks Online, and I'm going to unmark all the transactions for now. Just going to have everything unmarked. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to export these, everything that's in my reconcile page. I'm going to click on this button here that says CSV. Now, this CSV export actually doesn't come built into QuickBooks Online. You need an extension. It's called Right Tool. It's a little add-on app that you have to add, and then it'll let you export that data into CSV. So when you export that data into CSV, it will look something like this: date, reference number, account, payee, memo, payment and deposit. In reality, all you really care is payment and deposit. So now that I have both the data that's in QuickBooks, in my bank register, and the data that's in my spreadsheet, I can now do the comparison. So let's go into ChatGPT. I'm going to create a new chat. Before I do that, I'm going to fast forward real quick to the result. I actually spent about 4 hours fighting with ChatGPT to figure out what is the perfect prompt that is going to give me these results. And then I finally got it to work. And now I asked it to actually give me the perfect prompt. So I'm actually going to copy and paste this prompt into a new chat, and I'll read it really quick so we can kind of follow along in terms of exactly how we're going to get these two CSV files to match. So this is the actual prompt. Grab these two files and standardize the dollar amounts so deposits are positive and payments are negative. Match transaction by amount. Ensure each transaction is only matched once. If dollar amount appears multiple times, use additional context, such as date, description, or memo, to find the best match. Then provide a list of transactions that do not have a match on either file. So that's what we ended up being the perfect prompt, and we're just going to load those two CSV files in there. Good news is you don't have to be on the Plus or the Pro edition. You should be able to do this with the free edition of ChatGPT, because we're just using regular ChatGPT 4.0. We're not even using deep research on this, because we already have the clean CSV files. I actually use deep research and stuff to arrive to the perfect prompt. Okay, but at this point, if you have this exact prompt and the two CSV files the way I described, it should work. So let's put this to the test. Let's go ahead and send this. And this will work pretty quickly, obviously much quicker than any sort of deep research, because we're using the regular ChatGPT 4.0 model. So let's see if this time it arrives to those transactions, and then we'll go back to the reconciliation page and see if it was accurate. Okay, so now it arrived at the result here. Let's maximize this here. Now we have sort of like a mini spreadsheet here. These are the dollar amounts. Let me click and drag this out. Just make this a little bit shorter here. Click and drag it out, and drag this to the right a little bit more. And then here on my reconciliation page, we'll maybe drag this a little bit here to the left. Okay, perfect. So now we can just look at dollar amounts. So at this point, I'm just going to look at the dollar amounts here. So let's see. So the first one is $1,500. So let's uncheck the $1,500 that is here. So let's just, maybe we can sort this up, but that would probably be easier. So let's go by $1,500 payment. So let's uncheck that. So let's check everything actually, and let's just uncheck the ones that is asking me to leave out. So uncheck this one, and then uncheck 1205. Yeah, and then uncheck 1,000. Aria hotels on 124. So 124. Okay, so this one. and then 698.50, and then 500. Which one? The one for check 1155. So it should be on checking this one, and then the 5780, which is check 1154. The deposit for 4,965. Oh, and that's it. See, we got a difference of 0. So of course, we could open the bank statement and check against the bank statement, but that's exactly what we did. Is we use ChatGPT to just use the dollar amounts to calculate, and then after use the context to help me figure out how to reconcile my bank statement. So the conclusion from here is, with a small bank statement that has a couple pages, it probably would have been easier to just do it manually, granted. If you have maybe 6 or 7 pages and you're having a tough time getting it reconciled, this could be really helpful. I don't know if you're going to need the Plus edition or the Pro edition of ChatGPT to do larger context windows. So if you had like 1,000 transactions or something like that, I'm not sure if the free version would handle that. So that's something to think about. And then I would have to do some more testing to see about that. But where I envision this is in QuickBooks or any other sort of accounting software. I envision you going into the reconciliation page and think about all the steps that I took. You click and drag a PDF statement into it, and you tell it reconcile, and it will do the OCR on the bank statement. It will look at transaction by transaction, and then at the very end let you know, okay, these are the few that I couldn't figure out. But this stuff is going to get better and better, and there'll be a point in time where manually reconciling a bank in QuickBooks, it's just going to be a thing of the past. But AI will do it. I mean, you're starting to see the steps here. You're starting to see that. So anyway, I hope you found this this video helpful. One thing I want to recommend, if you want to come hang out with me, I'm going to have a conference in Miami in November 2nd to the 4th in Coral Gables, Florida. It's called REFRAME. We're going to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence, but what we're really going to talk about is how accounting professionals should think about pricing their services now that AI is doing a lot of the things automatically. So go to reframeaccounting.com and check out all the details. The conference is called Pricing with Confidence. It's going to be limited to 150 people. We already have over 120 tickets sold. If you want to learn, again, not just artificial intelligence, but the context on how this affects us, the accountants, as it starts doing things automatically, that's what this conference is all about, is to teach you, to teach each other how we're going to rebrand our profession so people see the value on the human aspect of what we do, not so much of the technical aspects of what the machines eventually are going to do. So anyway, I hope you like this video. See you in the next one.